what I realized today, I look back on it now, is that drugs and alcohol weren't my problem, they were my solution. As a kid, I didn't really want anything to do with the church, and I grew up in a home where my father was an alcoholic. He was a breadwinner, but he really wasn't more of a provider. He really wasn't present in my life, and that was a big deal for me as far as like trying to identify God as a father sometimes. So a guy that I was doing some work with offered me a little bit of cocaine, and I started doing it, and then over a 4-year period, I began to pretty much destroy my marriage and my family and my business, and it drove me to a place where I became willing to try something different, and the willingness to trust in God, and went through AA's 12 steps, and in the midst of that, God kind of rescued me from the domain of darkness, so to speak, and in January of 2000 I fully committed my life to Christ. And my life verse is 2 Corinthians 5:15, that he died that I would no longer live for myself but live for him. And so that's a concept I take very seriously. So I think that there's a lot that goes with the fact that when you get out of yourself and start serving, it does something to you in your heart, and I think that's what God wants us to do. So now I work in a community correction facility for juvenile felony offenders, and I really feel like that's where God wanted me to be really serving. In 2018, came to University Baptist Church. I walked in, and there's a guy who's now with the Lord, Jim Jennings, that greeted me as soon as I walked in and shook my hand, and I felt like I was at home. And it was just, there's an experience that I've had since I've been at UBC that it's like family. And I'm not saying I didn't experience that before, but there's something different about UBC. People treat each other like they're family, but there's a strong desire here among the body to serve. And not to mention that the gospel is presented every single weekend, and that's not just in the sanctuary. We teach right out of the Bible, but it also continues in with the student ministry and with our children's ministry, where it's a gospel-centered church. So UBC has been a wonderful blessing for me, and I've been here since 2018. I can't imagine not being a part of UBC now. And here recently I joined a growth group. I'm grateful to be a part of the smaller community too, and it's just like when you work all the time and you're involved in what you do, and I really do see what I do at work as a ministry, there's still something that we need to be around other believers and serving in that community as well. So I love being here. I've seen it firsthand how people that are part of the body that truly love Jesus really are generous, and it's not just about time, it's prayer, it's resources, because they see the need and they fulfill that need. After the tornado hit, the next 2 weekends, we didn't have services. We were out in the community serving the community. There's a willingness that exists here. When there's a need, we step up. And when I hear make him known, that's what our mission should always be. The Great Commission says that we're to go and make disciples of all nations. And it's not just through growth in membership, it's about growing the kingdom. Our demographic is all over the place. We have a lot of college students, we have a lot of student ministry, we have a lot of younger kids, and we have a responsibility to raise them up in the same approach that we're approaching in making him known, as teaching them how to make him known. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm excited as we continue down this path. Our missions aspect of our church is growing. We're starting to support missionaries more. We're heavily involved with Operation Christmas Child now, and that's continuing to grow. So there are ways that we are becoming involved globally, but also locally in what we're trying to do as far as growing in the community. What God has done in the short time that I've been here and how he's grown the body here, this goes far beyond, these walls.